Hello, I want to welcome everybody back to Iron on Iron Bible Study. Uh, Today we're going to be going into 2 Samuel, third division. Somebody wants to start us off with a prayer, then we're going to jump right into it. I can start us. I can do it. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for giving us a chance to come back into your presence once again, oh Father. We ask that in this Bible study, oh Father, that you diminish us so we can see more of you, oh Father, less of us and more of you, oh Father. We ask that you open our minds, oh Father, increase our understanding, oh Father, and add to our wisdom as we search your word, oh Father, and we become more in tune with you, oh Father, discover and reveal you, oh Father, because we know that's your greatest desire, oh Father. We ask right now, oh Father, that you come into this Bible study and release the Holy Spirit, oh Father, so we may look into your word and find that special exegesis, oh Father, and understand the mysteries of your word, oh Father. We ask that you come now, oh Father, and come quickly, oh Father. In your Son Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right. So where we were last time, we were talking about the civil war that broke out between the people of Judah and the people of Israel, the house of David and the house of Saul, and we found out that God was showing even then, even with the smaller number of the house of David, that they would be victorious as they routed the house of Saul in this impromptu civil war that happened. We also saw the foolishness of youth as one of the young men was trying to kill Abner for the glory and end up himself being killed. And at the end of this battle, we saw that the house of Saul conceded to the house of David, and they ended this part of the civil war on a peaceful note. Anybody want to add anything to that?
You know that guy who was the general of Saul's army? What was his name?
Abner.
Okay, Abner. And Ariel was that one that was fleet of foot. The one that was praying and caught him, right? I did a little commentary on that right there, and I was wondering why he said he looked right and he looked left, and he didn't go either right or left. He was trying to pursue the general. And when he come up on the general, what the general was letting him know, hey man, because it said something about him taking the armor. He said, no, see that, and that armor was like a trophy. So the general was trying to spare him because he really didn't want to have anything. He knew there was going to be a big problem with his brother. So he told him, look, man, the general already knew, look, man, you ain't good enough to fight with me. So you either look to your left or right and try to get the armor of one of those guys.
Oh yeah. Get those armors up prize. I see what you're saying, Brother Davis.
Yeah. I'm a little bit too much for you, but Ariel persisted, and the general had to go doing me. But trying to get him a chance.
And I think we're gonna see this week that Abner was right there. It was gonna be a big problem because we gonna see how it turns out. What was the end result of that? Somebody want to start us off with 1 through 5?
Sure. 2 Samuel chapter 3, 1 through 5, King James Version. It says, now there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And the two David were sons born in Hebron, and his firstborn was Amnon of Ahinoam of the Jezreelites, and his second was Chileab of Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third Absalom, the son of Micah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And the fourth, I think that's Adonijah, the son of Haggith. And the fifth, Shephatiah, the son of Abiathar. And the sixth, Athiriam, by Eglah, David's wife. these were born of David in Hebron. Okay, so it just started the chapter off and just let you know that the war continued. And when the war continued, the obvious happened. You know, David had the more mightier men of war. So obviously his house, you know, grew stronger and stronger. And just opposite of that, Saul's house grew weaker and weaker. And then it just kind of breaks down, you know, that in the midst of this, David started having babies.
A lot of them.
He went to work. I guess that war was working on his psyche, you know, and some type of relief.
You know, I was thinking about that this week, man, about how many wives he had. David had a lot of wives, you know, and a lot of the commentators kept on pointing back, you know, even though it's not God's plan, you know, it's God's plan for you to have one wife. And I was asking the question, man, why God let David have so many wives? You know, he had a bunch of them. But we saw that we're gonna see later on that brings a lot of problems. And I'm thinking about how he had all these sons, you know, one by each wife. Even though one son may be born after the other one, they think, hey, I'm the firstborn of this wife, you know, that I might be having equal share to the throne than anybody else. Why should I be, you know, behind any of my brothers? And we see that with none of these sons, with the exception of Absalom, even makes a play for the throne, as far as we know, and none of them retain a throne except, you know, Solomon, who's not even mentioned yet. So I think if David had followed God's plan of, you know, just having one wife, the land of succession would have been like, you know, it would have been like more understood.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, who made that? Oh, to be fruitful and multiply. What did that come? Well, that's in there too, right?
Yeah, but he could be fruitful with one woman. You'd have to be fruitful with many women.
Now, let me apply that to this word. Just look at saying God is ordaining you, long as you married to him, that you can go into this other woman to have procreate, have a child, if you married to him. With the women of today, and God being in the midst, tell them this is what I proclaim, that this man, being a righteous man, you know, unrighteous is unto God, and having and that's my decree, that he can, as long as he's married to him, he can have as many babies by any individual wife. Do you think the woman of the day would go along with that?
It's a bit, someone will, man.
That question.
Some of them will. Some of them will. I don't. You know,
I don't think so.
I've seen some men. I've seen some men that that come in. I'm a restaurant manager. Come into the restaurant with man, so many kids. You know what I'm saying? But it'd be about the same woman. You know, 6 or 7 kids. And these are black men, these are white men, these are Chinese men of all races. And the woman seems happy, the man seems happy. I think as long as God has proclaimed that for you, and that's what you are to do, that's a blessing, man. It's a blessing.
Now I go along with that because I said be fruitful and multiply, but make sure that you can take care of. You know, don't just have kids everywhere and you can't take care of the first one. You know,
most
make sure that you can take it. Don't just leave the woman with the kid. But the thing is, though, I just don't believe today's woman, even if God proclaimed it itself, would go along with that. I believe not only would you have a problem with the sons fighting to get the throne, that woman going along with that, man. Please. Anyway, I just wanted this, you know, and it goes back to trying to be obedient. Now, if the man is being obedient, because the first thing the woman said, so suppose he tell us to do the same, it ain't got nothing to do with it. We talking about what he said, but you know.
Yeah, personally speaking, man, I always wanted to have a big family, you know, because I come from a big family. I end up only having like 2 kids, but I thought it's just, man, to have a bunch of kids, it's a blessing, man, because you have all these grandkids that come along, and you just, you have I'm sure David was thinking the same thing, as he was a legacy, you know what I'm saying? Because he was king now. He was gonna
I
make
agree.
sure
Yeah.
he was gonna make sure he had somebody to succeed the throne.
And then just to kind of comment a couple of things. Just think about, we look at David and the things that he do, God allowed him to get away with that. But it was kind of customary, back in that time that if you could take care of, even though God don't approve, of some things, he allows some things. And if you just fast forward that into today's life, it's a lot of people out there right now thinking that they can have wives and concubines.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not the law of the land, though. That's not the law of the land. Because if we was over there in the Middle East, and if that was their law, God wouldn't have a big problem sitting in the United States where I guess the laws was clear, but I don't even know if it's clear no more. You know what I'm
saying? It just add a point to that, Pat. Even though, like you said, God allowed it, it still was consequences to it. We see that because you had the infighting among the wives, you had the infighting among the kids of different what's name, and it would just been a lot more cohesive if it's just been just David and one wife. Yeah, I mean it's the same thing today. You have a guy who has kids by multiple women. You see infighting among the women, infighting among the kids. It's just been more cohesive if it's just been one woman and one guy.
And I say this, don't be quiet, bro, Davis. It will very well go on today.
Oh yeah.
I seen some scenarios where I could have actually did that. But I was like, no, that ain't nothing but the devil. You know what I'm saying? So
I just believe there'll be some problems with today's one. But hey, some of them go for a whole lot of things.
If these people going for side pieces and you know what I'm saying, they would definitely go for that. You know what I'm saying? Because now they included. You know what I'm saying?
What Paul Chpt always say. He said, "Man, just think about the problem you have with one woman. He said, multiply that.
Wow.
Multiply that."
That's deep right there. That's deep. Yeah. But anyway, David, I agree with you, brother Pat. David looked like he was just trying to waste some little time, and in the time that he was wasting, he was spreading it everywhere.
All right. What's going on, brother Dave? You got anything you want to add to it?
Not at the moment.
What's going on?
What's going on, brother? You doing all right?
Pat, keep comments to yourself. But I was just, listening to y'all, and I was taking back. I mean, I was just, thinking back. You said, Brother David said he don't think that today's modern women wouldn't go along with that, but they didn't go. Some of the women in the Bible, they just didn't go along with it. You still had, which y'all mentioned earlier. You still had women, fighting against, each other. Look at Sarah and Abraham. The woman that Abraham had the baby. They still was going at it. And, Sarah was Abraham's wife. So I mean, you're still gonna have bickering and fighting among one another. But hey, if it ain't of God, I don't act on it.
And to piggyback on that, I don't think a lot of women would do what Sarah did. You know what I'm saying? Because she was so old and she couldn't have a baby. So she told Abraham, go ahead and lay with the concubine. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they'll do
that. Unless they really just, don't love their husband.
Anybody want to add anything? All right, let's move on. Let's somebody want to read 6 through all the way through 11.
I'll take that. Now it was so while there, and I'm reading from the New King James Version at home now. Real good. Now it was so while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David that Abner was strengthening his hold on the house of Saul. That's the general. And Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah. So Ishbosheth said to Abner, and that was Saul's son, why have you gone into my father's concubine? Then Abner became very angry at the words of Ishbosheth and said, am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah? Today I show loyalty to the house of Saul, your father, to his brothers and to his friends, and have not delivered you into the hand of David. And you charge me today with a fault concerning this woman? May God do so to Abner and more also, if I do not do for David as the Lord has sworn to him, to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul and set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah from Dan to Beersheba. And he could not answer Abner another word because he feared him. Now that old general is what you call a shyster, a snake oil sale. and you know, since he started that whole thing, because he actually groomed that Saul's son to be the king. You know, so he groomed because he had an ulterior motive. You know, but until he got so you know when somebody groom you, because they don't want no talk back. So when the guy said, wait a minute, now you now I don't know the guidelines or the laws back in that time, but if that person that belonged to that concubine was dead, then that concubine was anybody who wanted to, you know. I think that's what that was. But Abner didn't like the son even questioning him. He said, I've been loyal to all of y'all, man. You know, to your whole family and your friends. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do exactly what God said to do all the time, because he already gave it over to David. So I'm going to get with him, you know, and the son didn't like that. The son feared him then, because I guess he was looking at him, the general being all wise. He gave him the kingdom and set this up and set that up. Now he talking about going back over there to David. I think there's going to be a problem with that. Anybody want to chime on in on some of that?
That little part right there with the concubines, I think when it relates to a king, usually if the king die or if the king get defeated, other nations, I'm not sure about the children of Israel, they usually take out his concubine and leftover wives, and they take them and tie them together and burn them up. So that whole lineage or whatever, you know, that old house
burn it out.
Right. But in this sense, you know, I think the young fellow who challenged Abner, he was looking at it like, you know, we all family. And if we kind of fast forward, you know, these all church people. So he's trying to get him to do the right thing, you know, because Saul is the Lord's anointed. And sometimes we man, good old church people about what God said.
I would add a fine point on what you said, Pat. I kind of go back to Herod. You remember when they were saying it was unlawful for him to have his brother's wife,
right?
You know, and I think that probably was like kind of because Abner was Saul's cousin,
right?
Abner was Saul's cousin. I don't know if it was unlawful for him to have it, but to the overreaching point, nobody ever said that Abner had the woman. You know what I'm saying? That it was never proven that he really had the woman. I think Ishbosheth was trying to assert his authority because Abner was the one who set him up. Abner was in charge of the army. Abner was the one with all the experience, you know. So it was kind of him trying to put Abner in his place, you know.
And Abner was having none of that.
I said, look like that backbone.
So when you correlate that to like how Saul came into position. Abner, you know, he set that up because he felt like he could manipulate that position. Just like the children of Israel, when it related to Saul, they wanted that type of king because they felt like if they got mad at him, they ain't had to obey him. So in a sense, it was kind of like that same little school of thought.
Another little point added, man, you know, Abner said that this is what God wanted all along. If you know that was God wanted all along, why you say that Ishmael in the sea? If you know that was God wanted all along, now that you get mad at him, like, you know what? We're going to do what God wanted.
I agree with that, too. That show you that he had an ulterior motive.
And that's show you
all about him.
Somebody.
All about God.
Because Saul would do that same thing, you know.
It's what I wanted, what God wants.
Right.
You know, and we'll do that sometimes too, man. You know, we have something that we want, and we put in our mind, you know what, this is what God want me to have. Yeah, and that'll be our excuse, but we know God wanted another thing. And when it go wrong, well, that's what God wanted anyway.
He win. Oh boy, that's crazy, man.
Anybody want to add anything else?
You know, one thing about that just show you the way of the world. You know, everybody got their hand in there to try to get something for their own self. Not, you know, it ain't about what God wants. Man got to make sure that he put his hand in there. Let me touch something. Everybody want a little power.
That's exactly what he is. You know, they want the credit too, and that was Saul's biggest problem. God want the credit too. You know, let's not forget that.
Well, you know, hey, look, what they said, if he looked like a dog, he act like a dog. Right? That whole family was the same type.
Right.
And since they ran together, everybody was doing everybody wanted a little
same thing. Yeah, like the power was motivating them.
And that's why it was hard for Saul to understand Jonathan's behavior toward David.
Exactly. He's like, you my son, man. You should want power. What's this? This love for David. He gonna overshadow you.
Jonathan understood though.
All right. Anything else you want to add to that? No. Okay, I'm gonna read 12 on through 16. The Abner sent messengers. I'm reading out the NIV. The Abner sent messengers on his behalf to say to David, whose land is it? Make an agreement with me, and I will help you bring all of Israel over to you. Good, said David. I will make an agreement with you, but I demand one thing of you. Do not come into my presence unless you bring Michelle, daughter of Saul, when you come to see me. Then David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, son of Saul, demanding, give me my wife, Michal, whom I betrothed to myself for the price of 100 Philistines' foreskins. So Ishbosheth gave orders and had her taken away from her husband, Palatiel, son of Lachish. Her husband, however, went with her, weeping behind her all the way to Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, go back home. So he went back.
Wow.
We see a couple power moves being put here.
Whole lot of power moves.
We see the Abner saying, hey man, listen, David, I can give you what you want. I can give you the rest of Israel. You know, you got Judah in your hand. I can hand you over. I'm a Benjamin. I can hand you over the rest of Israel. David said, that's cool. But the only way you're going to come into my presence is if you give me the wife, Saul's daughter that I had already betrothed. And he did this because, you know, if he got hurt, then he could consolidate his power. The two houses be consolidated. We see Ishbosheth, which, you know, he ain't nothing but a coward no way, figuring that if he gave David his sister, then maybe that would placate David, you know, We seen old poor pilot tell here, yeah, I know he can do nothing but cry all the way home.
But,
One thing we
I
see.
mean, that wasn't gonna be his wife in the first place. He was betrothed to David, man. Something already went on.
But
He
you
didn't
know,
get
one thing.
204 skins.
Yeah. Hey, and you know, back in one thing about it definitely wasn't gonna be his wife and he crying. How can you protect me? You know, how can you protect me and you whining? You need to be fighting for me, not whining. And then the man told him just like a little boy, man, go on back home, go on back home. You know, to whine himself, go on back over there.
He
You
said,
need a real man.
Okay.
Wow. It made him seem like a little boy. Going on back, man. She ain't need to be with you no way. We already know what kind of coward you are. You whining. A different thing if they came and asked for the main wife. The man said, no, I'm not standing for that. And they had to, you know, talk bad to him or running through or something. No, this man started crying. He came, and then they would say, he came with her. What are you fighting for? Nobody called him. And then the general had to go and tell, look, man, ain't nobody called you.
Because Brother Dave, he loved her, man. He loved her.
Right.
Boy.
Loved her.
And that what you call a whip puppet. You know, he a whip puppet, man.
That's
But
something
it's
else
just the
right
fact,
there.
man, it's crazy, man. Cause you know, Saul tried to give him their other daughters, and the day was like, nah, you know, man, you know, I can't do that. And then Saul was like, what about Michael? He said, okay, what you want? I ain't got no money. He said, go give me 100 foreskin from the Philistine. He said, I'll make it 200.
But hey, one thing about David, boy, David like his ladies, don't he?
He loved that girl, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was a physical attraction or what it was, but for him to double that, you know what I'm saying? It ain't easy to get no foreskin from the Philistine.
It ain't easy to get one. One gonna be
Hey, you know, and another thing, man, it's some years that had passed by.
It did.
Between her and David before they actually got together, and then not only some years, some wars. A lot of wars had went on, man. But this brother said, I want my property.
Man, it's mating season, man. Shoot, man. They had all kind of babies, man. You know, and at that point, I ain't gonna lie, I bet that was probably like a man's dream come true. You know what I'm saying?
So,
you know what I'm saying?
I got a question. So he hadn't had a baby by her yet, right? Or did
he had a kid by her. I don't think he is gonna have a kid by her. I don't think he ever
okay. She ain't having no kids because that little thing she did when he was dancing before the Lord.
Oh, okay.
So she got jealous, and he was trying to explain that to her. Then it went on to say that God shut her womb up. So she ain't had no kids. But that don't mean old David, you know, one of those
Because after years, the man still got his focus on that. Maybe them other young ladies that got that, you know, sometimes property get old. Wow, man. Boy, this look like it is as the world turn or what?
Or something like that, don't it? That's why I always say, man, about the book of Samuel. It's like a movie, man, almost, you know, because of so much going on in it, and the repercussions. We can see it playing out, like you said, almost a serial format, like it's a soap opera, you know.
And then, you know, then going back with Abner, he asked David, whose land? You already know whose land it is.
Exactly.
I guess you just want to hear him say it. Huh? But look, man, I got a proposition for you. If you do this for me, you know, I need you to make a promise with me. Everybody wants somebody to make a promise with them. Got their hands out. I can give you this, and then you're not the king. Well, he's my puppet. Now, one time, and I guess David Nichols, he didn't say that, let me get this from the king. You know, did the king say it?
Nah, he knew who the real power was behind
He
the
already
throne.
knew.
He knew that Abner was the power behind the throne.
But you got to look back at David too, because what David said to him, said, look, man, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I don't even want to see your face. Don't even come see me unless you bring this. Ain't that something? I don't need to see you the first time, then you come back and negotiate, say, I'm going back to get her. I want to make sure when you see me, you already got a witch.
I ain't got nothing to say to you until you bring my own love. And
wow.
Fantiel, man, he was just a little sucker, man. I guess he enjoyed Michael as long as he could. But, he realized it was over with. I mean,
get to go back home, cry for soup, huh?
Well, he probably, but Pat, he probably realized that he probably really upset when Saul, because Saul the one gave it to him. So he knew when Saul, man, Saul gone now, man. They probably, man.
Go ahead and take my prize away from me.
So Pat, you said he was a sucker or something?
Yeah, he was a sucker. Old cream puff, man.
That was a cream puff. Oh, cream puff. No, we don't cream puff.
At that Bavarian cream.
That was his wife he was crying over. It's like he knew he couldn't defeat David because David was, David is a trained assassin. So,
man, look, man, if that's when your wife at stake, man, it don't make no difference how big that giant is. You got to come on with it. And if you love her,
I agree. I'm gonna side Brother David on that one.
Oh yeah, you talking about fighting for love or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I side Brother David on that one.
10 black guys on it. Hey man, come on, man. Now let me have my wife, man.
Hey, look,
okay. So, but really, he didn't have no fight, and he really couldn't fight with David to begin with because it was his David's wife at first.
Yeah, what we trying to say, but
yeah,
I just got caught back into
it. Yeah. Okay.
But either way, he still was a little cream puff. Yeah, I like cream. So they say he was weeping, okay?
And then the thing is, that the general came and took her. He took her from you already, and you gonna follow me there?
Exactly. He could cry at home. When nobody
that's right. That's gonna even make it hurt worse than you falling.
Crying,
man.
Crying.
You wanted to know where you were going.
Man, please, no, he should have been standing up for her and telling the general, look, man, maybe, like you said, maybe he knew who David was and he knew who the general was. But
I'm sure you knew who David was.
Sometimes just being able to stand up, they may say, no, he may look at it like Ashiel when he didn't want to stick, but the man, look, he's being brave. Maybe David, look, can you take another one? Because this man willing to die for her. David probably wouldn't have cared no more. He won't.
Right.
David would have probably killed that dude for that one.
He might have, but I
well, we know he's gonna do it. He has a history of
it. He already told the general, I don't even want to see your face, man, unless you got a witch.
What is that point?
All right. Anybody want to add anything else to that?
One thing I want to add, and then I'm gonna be quiet. Okay, so picture Bathsheba and what's the name of his guy? Uzziah. Is it Uzziah? Uriah, right? That's a husband.
Yeah.
I think David thought Uriah was thinking like he thinking right now. Because he still got wartime going on. But David, he'll take care of a little business with a little pleasure. But Uriah was like, I can't go and lay with my wife because we got the Ark of the Covenant out there in the field. We got my, brothers in arms out there. Pretty much the whole house of Israel is out there fighting. I can't even think about, getting with my wife. And they were like, man.
They thought everybody was like him and Solomon, huh?
Right. There's always room for Jello, man.
Hey, and Bro Griff, you were right about what Patiel, not Patiel, but the Ishbosheth. he was definitely trying to he was trying to do some bartering too. So wait a minute, man. If he wanted his wife, I forgot all about that. I give him that because he already feared what Abner was doing. So maybe he said, maybe I can get my hand in there now. You know, yeah, you can. I get it for you. You know, because Abner already told him what he was gonna do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, man. Anybody want to add anything else to that? David, you want to read?
I'm driving right now.
Oh, my bad. Somebody want to read 17 to through 21?
All right, I got it. King James Version. And Abner had communication with the elders of Israel, saying, Ye sought for David in times past to be king over you. Now then, do it. For the Lord has spoken of David, saying, By the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel out of the hand of the Philistines, and out of the hands of all of their enemies. And Abner also spake in the ears of Benjamin, and Abner went also to speak in the ears of David and Hebron, and all that seemed good to Israel, that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin. So Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him. And David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and will gather all Israel unto my lord the king, that they may make a league with thee, and that thou mayest reign over all thine heart desire. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. You said 22?
No, just 21. That's right there. That's good.
So basically, Abner, he's ready to make good. Not only that, he's speaking to, the tribes and just, kind of getting them mentally ready for what's about to happen. They're going to go ahead and surrender, this little civil war or this little fight over and do what God wanted to do anyway. And it said that after he spoke to the people, then he finally just came up to David's house, which I don't see it nowhere in here. You also have to conclude that Michael was somewhere, you know what I'm saying? She was somewhere in the entourage. And he had those 20 men, and, it had to be there because it said David made them a feast. And after they ate and everything, David said, all right, you go in peace. I like what you're talking about. Let's go ahead and get this together. And I think that's about it.
One thing about that, just like you all were saying, all of this was going to happen anyway. And I wondered, did Abner know that? And he gonna just, I can see my way through that. This is gonna go on anyway, But if I can just have my way and put my little say-so in it and go talk to the people, because especially by him being a general, he a man of war, they gonna listen to me. And he was pretty successful over there with Saul when Saul was fighting. So then he a strategist.
Yeah.
So he was that strategy right there. Because David, I can do this right here. Now I'm gonna go talk to all these people, and I'm gonna you ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. Everything gonna be laid before you, man. I'm gonna just by dialogue. Because just remember when they was fighting by that water, and somebody was, I don't know who that said that. I wish we had what they were saying. We should have had a conversation about this before, and we wouldn't have had 200 some men to die when they was on that pool, and everybody coming at each other jousting. So, and some commentary about Abner was that they say he was a good strategist.
Yeah,
he really tried to make a way where that wouldn't be bloodshed if he could talk, if he could communicate. And so we see that he most definitely is a good strategist in how he can communicate with the people and get people to sway his way. And then and having David believe that, oh, he's a good guy, he's this and that. But like I said, that brother probably got an ulterior motive. And David, David set forth the feast for him and his man. And them 20 men were probably a lot of his main men, a lot of the other folks that was coming up after him. People that had positions. And he didn't take but 20. I guess he didn't want to look like he'd come to war. A bodyguard, the Republican guards, I guess.
Yeah. Anybody want to add anything else? Good point, Brother Davis.
Just with I think Brother Davis asked the question, do we think that he knew that? It's a possibility he might have known, but just like you said, I think he was opportunist, you know.
It was definitely that.
Yeah, he probably said, yeah, okay, you know, David, you're gonna be king, but I gotta get something out of this, you know what I'm saying? I gotta get something out of this. So, you know, and what's about to transpire now, I really think he was earnest at this point, you know what I'm saying?
I think he was too. I think he wanted to make David, but I think that has a lot to say about delaying the plan of God. You know, when when we know what the plan of God is, and apparently Abner knew what it was. Why he couldn't do this at the beginning when Saul died? You know what I'm saying? Why he couldn't do it right there? He obviously had the power to bring the tribe of Benjamin in, and he had the status. But I think he was thinking that I'd rather control the throne than promote the throne. You know, and that's why he put Ishmael up as the proxy king. And we're gonna see what's gonna happen to old Abner as a result of that, because everything seems like it's going good right now. You know what I'm saying? He got the money and the power. He got the money
and swaying a little bit on both sides. You know, because you already see what he did from Ishbosheth. You know, I man, I'm the one put you in the position you in. Now you want to talk about Bill, but just because I'm getting this concubine over here. Now then he got swayed with David too. And then what you were saying, bro, Griff, about with Saul, why he didn't do that at first, if he knew that was God's plan. What you said, that's strategy.
Yeah.
He probably was, Saul had him up. If he's a general, his style was good, you know. And he really was next to the king, because a lot of times the general have to take over the country.
Yeah, they over the army.
They over the army, you know. So he had a lot of sway. He knew that probably, but Ishbosheth probably wasn't the son that the kingdom would have actually went to. You know, it would have been Jonathan.
It would have been Jonathan. Yep. Jonathan would have been
he was real slick, man. He was real slick. And like you said, I'm gonna just let this play through. That's what he was saying. Long as Saul is in charge, I'm with him. You know. But then he probably, like you said, he probably knew just from what the people were saying what was going to happen. But he just playing them cards, man. He had that ace of spades, but they didn't know he had that big joke in the back of his pocket.
Yeah, with that big joker.
I got some up my sleeve. And he was probably planning on doing the same thing all the time. But until Ishbosheth came and confronted him on it, made him look, I guess that, you know, a lot of time by him being a jerk, that made him look weak right there. Man, how you gonna come talk to me? And I the one gave you what you got. You wouldn't even be there for one for me. And you gonna come talk to me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, man.
And then I think Abner, I don't know if he really believed God now. I just kind of listened to what y'all was saying. I believe he wanted to make it seem like it was his idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess you're gonna be king. You know, that's fine. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You know, because people do that stuff in church all the time. You got a position, they'll try to knock you down. I don't know if the Lord ready, just sit down and wait a little while, baby. Learn.
Yeah.
At the last minute, you know what I'm saying? Well, I guess go on.
Yeah, put you on up there. You know they knew that.
No, I don't want to do it now.
Pat, hey Pat, now they really didn't want you right then because they think you were ready. But that person that was go get it, I don't like him. So I'd rather have him. At least I got his ear. You know, just like Abner, I got his ear. So I don't even know. I mean, her, we don't like each other that much, you know. But me and him, we don't get along that much. But since I got Bro Pat's here, I think I ordained him. And especially if she got to sway with the preacher, you know.
My God, because we used to almost had to fight in Sunday school, man. And then after about 30 minutes of fighting, they'd be like, yeah, we kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah. But it goes back to what Abner was saying when they got into around that pond. You know, he said, "Well, you know, we could have done this all the time. We could have talked this thing out, but 100 feelings got stepped on." You know.
All right. Let's have somebody read 20 through 26, and we'll close it out there for the night. 26. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. At that moment, the servants of David and Joab came from a raid and bought much spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he had gone in peace. When Joab and all the troops that were with him had come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he sent him away, and he has gone in peace. Then Joab came to the king and said, What have you done? Look, Abner came to you. Why is it that you sent him away and he has already gone? Surely you realize that Abner the son of Ner came to deceive you, to know your going out and your coming in, and to know all that you are doing. And when Joab had gone from David's presence, he sent messengers after Abner, who brought him back from the well of Sarah. But David did not know him. Now, when Abner had returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him privately, and there stabbed him in the stomach, so that he died from the blood of Ashiel, his brother. You should stop at what now?
That's right there, bro. That's good.
Okay. Wow, that's a whole lot right there, boy. That's like a beginning and an end, you know. but that it goes back to Abner, what he was trying to prevent. That I don't know. It seems like he had you can't say he didn't care, because he had some respect for Joab. Definitely he didn't want to kill that. He's his brother. He knew he was gonna have a problem with it. He probably knew that guy was pretty tough, you know, himself. Because if that wasn't the case, he would have went on done away with his little brother when he first said it, instead of telling him go try to wrestle with one of those other guys. And Joab was disappointed because he'd been trying to catch up with him all the time. Yeah. And then he's looking at David, you let him go. I ain't right here having my brother killed, and he's trying to deceive you. But David ain't no fool, man. David just trying to, you know, he letting things go as it should be going in the first place. You know, if I ain't got to go against these folks and bringing war, and he can do it, let him do it. I ain't gonna let him. It's like a dog on a leash. I ain't gonna let him go no further than he go. When that leash up, then he stop. But and then Joab said, okay, he called him back. Now I don't know if Abner thought the man was just gonna talk, because he came back. Came back with him. They didn't say anything about it. He tried to fight him right then. He came back with it. And then the man said, I want to talk to you privately, end up killing him. So it was some trust there. You done killed the man's son. You done did something like that. It looked like them 20 men you had with you. You say, hey man, look, wait a minute. Hey, you know.
I think the point there, man, you know, there's such thing as rules of war, you know. You know, what happened during war is one thing, but when it's not the war, you know, it's another thing. And I guess Abner felt that, you know, they killed his brother, Asiel. You know, that was war. We was at war then. We was at civil war then. But right now we're not in civil war, so we couldn't. But Joab didn't feel the same way. He feels
about none of it.
He feels. One thing, man, I found crazy here, man, is that, you know, when we started First Samuel, that Jonathan and David were the young upstarts. You know, they were the ones, you know what I'm saying? Them the ones that jumped about. Them was the ones that we heeded. And now we feel that David has got a little bit more mature, you know what I'm saying? He's in his late 30s, you know, going towards his early 40s. Now we got another group of young men that, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of upstarts. This is David's nephews that's more hot-blooded than he was.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, yeah. And he's like taking the place of a wise king now.
That's just crazy. And that boy Joel, I'm thinking he from that day he looked on the ground and saw his brother laying there,
Yeah.
he been plotting that revenge. It's crazy how these people just be out of order. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna go to the king and start mouthing off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess he could do that because David, you know,
that was his uncle. Yeah.
right, you know, but not only that, you know, David was relaxing now. He was making
Yeah.
babies. You know what I'm saying? So he's not that, just like you say, he's not that same hot tempered young man that he used to be. He's just trying to have peace. He's trying to get his family together.
Unite the kingdom. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And these young boys, they just want to be some hot boys. You know what I'm saying? They want to themselves. So that's crazy, man. And just like, I guess that's just how it is, man. When you get a bunch of people together, you got all these difference of opinions and, you know, attitudes.
That's our world, man. That's how we going, man.
We need more level-headed people, man.
Somebody want to add anything to that? All right, we'll stop right there for tonight. We'll pick up back at 26 on next week. Brother Dave, you're gonna be leading next week.
Oh yeah, I take.
All right. I just wanted to
Oh, we stopped at 21:6.
26, yes, sir. So we were planning on I think coming to my church next week. Actually, we're not gonna have our family and friends day because we're doing some renovations in a sanctuary. I didn't know if you guys wanted to maybe go to Dave's church or go to Brother Dave's church, or I don't. Next week, I'm open to either one.
Y'all most definitely invited. I
What
don't know if we have anything special, but church is church.
You most definitely invited.
So what now?
I was asking Brother David, what time does his service start?
Oh, the service started at 10 o'clock. Just 1 hour. 1 hour service. Look like a lot of churches went to 1 hour service. You all church the same way since the pandemic?
Man, I think I was like an hour 30.
Hour 30.
I was whenever our pastor get done preaching.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, it's like that, but you know, because he ain't trying to rush, but yeah.
I think I think we can, you know, meet at Brother Dave's church because just so happened I was gonna visit his church this coming up Sunday anyway.
Okay, sounds good then. So, 10 o'clock. What's that address, Brother Davis?
It's in
Friendship. I'm laughing because I should remember that because the address is my membership number.
Oh, we'll just send it through the what's that group text, man?
It's on Jackson Avenue.
I think it's right off about. Hold up, just a minute.
What's the name of the church, Brother Davis?
New Friendship.
New Friendship.
Yeah, it's off Jackson Avenue.
New Friendship on Jackson Avenue.
Yeah, it's off that exit.
Okay, New Friendship on Jackson Avenue. I know we got about I sent a text out said we get about 3 weeks to Easter, so we're all got 10 people that we don't usually pray for that we're praying for. This week our Sunday school lesson was about reaching the margins of society, those who, there's a woman at the well who was a double outcast. She was a Samaritan, and she was a woman of ill repute that Jesus reached out to her, and that we are tackle to do the same in the mission of God to reach out to people on the margins of society. So I challenge everyone to, if you have their chance this week, to share the gospel with someone who is on the margins, that you do so. At the same time, we are still praying for the 10 people that we wouldn't usually pray for until Easter. Anybody got anything else they want to add?
Well, look, I'm back. That's 1350. I'm glad I went back. I was gonna say 1055, but it's 1355 Valentine Avenue.
1355 Valentine Avenue. All right.
And they still we still wearing masks too. So
okay,
you can either wear your own mask or they have something for you at the door.
Okay. All right. Anything else, brothers?
I think at my church, the women's ministry having like an outreach at Hollywood Community Center. I asked them if they, need some volunteers. I'm pretty sure they do. So there could be like an outreach, that we can do on a Saturday.
All right, shoot that information to us, man.
Also,
Okay.
too,
Got a question.
Mhm.
Bro Pat. That young lady that we did that and we were serving them dinners, how is that ministry going right there? Did you know her personally?
I don't know, man. We just need to check up on them, man. I didn't know them personally.
Okay.
That'll be a good
I always
idea.
like
When
to
it comes
check,
to it, you know
see
what
what
I'm saying?
people up to.
But I'm not gonna let Dave leave this chat. Dave got to say one of the 7 last sayings. And when do you do that, Davey?
I gotta record it. I gotta record it, so I gotta get the date.
7 last
It's gonna
sayings.
be, yeah.
How does that go?
Well, since COVID, this is my first time ever. It's gonna be virtual, pretty much. It's gonna be virtual. So I just record it. Gotta go in and record it.
Look, brother, it's eating time for me. I'm gonna
right,
with you all, and you all be blessed. Oh, we haven't said prayer yet. No.
Go ahead and pray for us, brother Davis, right quick.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Father, just for being over us, Father, and just guiding us through this reading and this studying of your word, Father. We ask you to continue to shine your light on our lives, Father, so we can shine the light on others that we meet. Let us spread and touch somebody with your word, Father, and give them that which is in us to show them that same thing is in them, Father. To show that God is at the door. He's knocking. Open the door and let him in. Let him into your heart. Let him into your life. So we just thank you, Father, for those marching orders that we continue to follow your word. In your son, Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, brother. Y'all be blessed.
In last words. All right, brothers. We'll see y'all next week.
All right.